Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. We're here to wrap the markets for you. And today's session, the initial cheer that we really saw was sort of short-lived because after touching or inching towards 8100 in afternoon trades, the Nifty actually erased all of its gains to end flat at 8034. In fact, it fell as much as 65 points from the day's high. So some consolidation that we were seeing today, Agam, after a 125 point rally yesterday. And is that what our poll predicted?
Okay, so here's what our poll said. Okay, the question we asked was that the Nifty's fallen for 12 out of the last 19 sessions, and how will today's session pan out? So we have about 44% vote for end with gains, about 22% who suggest end with losses, and 34% who got it right. They've said that it's ended flat. So there you have it, the number 2 for the most number of guesses as to where the Nifty is closed today.
All right, let's talk about turnovers. As expected, the cash market turnovers remain pretty subdued at about 15,000 crores. But when it comes to derivatives, the turnovers picked up 6.4 lakh crores is where that volume stood, but that was of course on the back of
the expiry. Yes.
But the Nifty, however, has risen about 0.9% this expiry, so it's not everything's not as bad as what it was in November. But what are you picking up from the index futures?
You know, you just mentioned that we're looking at some amount of gains for the Nifty through the course of this expiry, but for now, you know, when it comes to the rollovers, they are certainly above average as compared to what we've seen in the previous 3 months. And based on that, there is also a lot of uncertainty with the fact that whether or not these rollovers are towards the short side or the long side. And I'll tell you why, because on Monday we saw plenty of gains, then we saw some amount of losses coming in, and once again today was the day where we saw the Nifty move up, reach out till 8100 and then come back again to the levels of 8000. So there is plenty of should I say lack of clarity as to where the Nifty is going to go into January, especially given the fact that we are looking at so many events. But for now, that's as far as your rollovers are concerned, still higher than average, and whether or not the long or the short side, we're just going to have to wait for more data to come in.
And what's the range that options markets is throwing up?
That's once again a very interesting factor there, because we're looking at a constant change in range every single day. So yesterday we were looking at a 400 point range between 7900 and 8300. Today that range has changed once again, because we have seen more writing in the 8000 put, as you can see indicated here by this red bar, and this is reflected in your maximum open interest distribution that is now between the 8000 put and 8300 and the 8200 call. So we are looking at a lot of variation, and mind you, this variation, this change has also just occurred in the last 10 minutes. So we have seen more writing in the 8200 put as call as well. So once again, and this is going to keep changing, especially given we have so much volatility in place. But we're at least for now we're looking at a 300 point range. But I'm not going to put my finger on a specific level as to where we can expect the expiry to close.
It's just moved up a little bit, inched higher since yesterday.
Right.
Okay, if we talk about the Nifty movers, well, you had Coal India, Bharti Infratel, Idea Cellular, IndusInd Bank, all of these seeing close to 2% gain. So Coal India, of course, leading the gainers today. On the other hand, Tata Motors, the DVR, Reliance Industries, Yes Bank, Hindalco, all of these were seeing some weakness. But any sectoral trends that you have come across?
Well, in the broader markets, once again, we're looking at about 3 gainers and 2 losers, as you can see, with respect to the market breadth. We have seen a substantial gains coming in for Delta Corp, which has gained around 11.5%, followed by State Trading Corp. It's locked in an upper circuit, followed by Bharat Financial. Now, Bharat Financial has been gaining for the second straight day. A lot of investors out there of the opinion that it was oversold, and hence you're looking at a substantial bounce there. Network 18 up 8%, followed by Syngene International and Zymes Wellness also gaining around 6%. In terms of losers, we have declines in Magma FinCorp, Shoppers Stop declining. You have Suprajit Engineering, some weakness in Orient Cement, as well as Apollo Tyres. But on the whole, as market breadth suggests that we are looking at just about 3 gainers as against 2 losers. So, well, in general, overall, at least the broader market is looking better than what we are looking at the benchmarks.
And Agam, it seems that the market breadth has sort of held on despite the correction or the fall or tapering off that we really saw broadly in the markets. Just 2 or 3 stocks that I want to mention which had hit their upper limits today. One was Treehouse Education, after the founder said that they'd filed a police complaint about the 2nd December board meeting. So that entire that was some certain update on that issue. Sunil High Tech Engineers, that again closed at 5% upper circuit after it won some road projects worth 434 crores. And one interesting stock, Agam, RPP Infra Projects, they announced an order win today sometime in sometime around lunch, but the stock was sort of trading higher since morning. Of course, it ended at a 20% upper circuit, but the stock had also closed at a 20% upper circuit yesterday. So I'm not sure if there was somebody who knew about this order, or if this order win was actually anticipated. But that's an interesting move that we saw as far as those upper circuit levels are concerned.
Right. Well, I suppose in general, given the fact that we saw, except for the fact that we saw the Nifty move up and then come back down, it wasn't a very eventful day otherwise. And that is also what we have so far for you today. Do join us tomorrow once again for yet another edition of Market Wrap. Of course, it's going to be another interesting session because it is expiry. It is also the last expiry of this year. So stay tuned in to Bloomberg Quint, and you tune in tomorrow as well.